Dear colleagues, today we begin to study cranium or skull. Cranium is the place where two large functions are realized. First of all, it's place for brain. That's why first part of cranium names Neurocranium, or cranium cerebrale. Cerebrum in Latin means brain. And second part of skull named cranium viscerale or splanchno-cranium. Splanchno-cranium or cranium viscerale. Viscera means organs. And now let's look at the specimen. This is specimen of the skull. It was previously cutted in this horizontal plane, and so we can see, after we opened it, the cavity for the brain. So brain is placed inside of this cavity. That's why all these bones are named as bones of cranium cerebrale or neurocranium. So this is first function of the cranium, to be place for brain and defense brain from any external injury. And second function is connected with the apparatus of eating and breathing. So respiratory tract and alimentary tract. So you can see a teeth which are placed on the so-named bones as maxilla. And it's part of alimentary apparatus, of alimentary canal, which provides our organism with the food and metabolism. So second function is connected with the internal organs, and that's why it's named splanchno-cranium. Splanchna means internal organs. Splanchno-cranium or cranium viscerale. What is differences between these two terms, splanchno-cranium and cranium viscerale? Practically, it's the same, but in different languages. Splanchno-cranium, splanchna, in Greek, internal organs, and viscera, cranium viscerale, in Latin, means the same, internal organs. So now we already understand that skull is a special place where these two large functions realized, and we shall begin from the cranium cerebrale or neurocranium. Let's try to distinguish different bones of Neurocranium. First of all, this is of green color. It's frontal bone, or os frontale. Os frontale. I shall write down. Os frontale. This green one, it's single bone. It means unpaired bone. Then we can find two paired bones, os parietale or ossa in plural, parietale. Os parietale of yellow color. Os parietale. In parentheses, that there are two of such bones, left one and right one. So, os parietale. Then, from the back, we can find this brown bone, which named as os occipitale, occipital bone. Os occipitale. Os means bone. It's also unpaired bone. Be attentive to this pronunciation and way of writing. Occipitale. Two letters C, but one of it pronounce it as ok, and the next occipitale. Os occipitale. And we can easily understand that this bone is from the back part of the skull. Then this pink or violet color is temporal bone, os temporale, temporal bone, or os temporale. In parenthesis, number 2, it means that it's paired bone, so we can find right temporal bone and left temporal bone. And not easily to find, but we are obliged to do it. There is a bone of light yellow color, which we can find in the center of the skull. Now I demonstrate it inside of the orbit, this place for eyeball. And also we can find it here. It's so named sphenoidal bone, os sphenoidale, os sphenoidale. It's unpaired bone. Os sphenoidale. Os sphenoidale. If I open the skull, I can demonstrate this os sphenoidale in the central part of basis of the skull. This is os sphenoidale. And we also can demonstrate it. For example, in such kind of specimen. Here it is, os sphenoidale. And again, one of quite complicated bones is this pink or reddish color bone, which named os ethmoidale. Os ethmoidale. It's also unpaired bone, and it has a special central part which we can find in the middle of the nasal cavity. It's medial wall which divide nasal cavity into symmetrical parts, right and left. So this bone named os ethmoidale, ethmoidale. Letter H is silent. Ethmoidale. So, I have demonstrated you the main bones of Neurocranium. Again, let's summarize. Os frontale, os parietale, paired bone. There are two of them, left and right. Os occipitale, os temporale, also paired. This is left temporal bone, and this is right temporal bone. Os sphenoidale, which we can demonstrate only in the orbits if the skull isn't cutted. But if it is cutted, we can also demonstrate it inside of the basis of the cranium. And os ethmoidale, ethmoidale, here it is, os ethmoidale. And now, let's try to find the bones of splanchno-cranium, bones of splanchno-cranium. First of all, nasal bone. It's paired bone, nasal bone, os nasale. I shall change my place. In parenthesis 2 means it's also paired bone, os nasale. Os nasale, right and left. Os nasale, right and left. Then this of blue color, zygomatic bone. Zygomatic bone. Os zygomaticum. Os zygomaticum. Also paired. Os zygomaticum. Here it is. Left zygomatic bone, right zygomatic bone, left zygomatic bone, right zygomatic bone. Then os maxilla, paired bone, maxilla, upper jaw, maxilla. Also paired bone. Maxilla. Left maxilla, right maxilla. Left maxilla, right maxilla. Then inside of the orbit we can find this dark green bone, which is lacrimal bone. Lacrimal bone. Os lacrimale. Os lacrimale. And also os lacrimale. Close to it we can find the bone which belongs to the Neurocranium. We already know it. It's os ethmoidale. Here it is, os ethmoidale. In our skull, it's here, os ethmoidale. And then we can find two quite complicated bones, which here of this, difficult to say what is the color, light violet or light brown, I don't know. It's os palatinum, palatum bone, os palatinum. also paired. Os palatinum. Here it is. Right os palatinum, and here it is, left os palatinum. And then we can find several unpaired bones. First of all, so named vomer. Vomer. It's interesting, but usually we don't use this word os, vomer, without using os or bone, vomer. Vomer, here it is. It's unpaired bone which also divide nasal cavity into left and right parts. So here it is, vomer. It's important to point that it's easy to demonstrate it from the back, but quite complicated to find it from the anterior view. Here it is, because from anterior view it has only short part, but from posterior view it's quite large part. So vomer, unpaired bone. Then in this specimen we don't use lower jaw, which named mandibula. 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 Mandibula placed here. It contains the lower teeth, but in this specimen we don't use this part, mandibula. And also we can't find in this specimen very interesting bone, os hyoidum. Os hyoidum. Os hyoidum. Os hyoidum is bone which is placed on the neck, not on the head, but on the neck. But nevertheless, it develops as a bone of the skull. And also there are very small very small bones, ossiculae. Very small, not os, but ossiculae. It means very, very small. Ossiculae, A-U-D-T-V. Ossiculae auditive. Very small bones which placed inside of the middle ear, and they serve for moving each other to make fluid inside of the internal ear to move. So it's necessary to process of hearing. So ossicula auditiva means bones which is necessary for hearing. There are 3 such bones from each side. 3 from right side and 3 from left side. So now we know all the bones of the skull, and now let us to be more acquainted with each of them. First of all, we begin from the os frontale. Os frontale. I use now this distinct frontal bone, and we can compare it with the skull. This part named squama frontale. Squama frontale. This part named squama frontale. When we turn it to the inner surface, we can find a deep, small fosse. It names impressiones digitate. It means like fingers have had imprinted inside of it. It's interestingly that it's a result of gyri of the brain. But brain is very soft as gel material, but nevertheless inside of the inner surface of squama frontale we can find these footprints of it. Impressiones digitate. Impressiones digitate. Impressiones digitate. Then, very important part of the frontal bone is this lateral symmetrical parts, which are called as orbital parts, because they are upper wall of the orbit. Pars orbitales. In plural, partes orbitales. they are lateral. Partes orbitalis. And also we can find here incisura nasale. In our specimen, this incisura is fulfilled by the part of another bone, of ethmoidal bone, but really we can find here incisura nasale, incisura nasale. And from here we can enter to the cavity inside of it. What is this cavity? It's so named sinus frontalis. Sinus frontalis, cavity which contains air. This is due to skull was not so heavy, and for good pronunciation, because this cavities serves as resonator. When person have catched a cold, we can hear that he speak in nose, because when he catch a cold, these cavities will be fulfilled with the fluid, inflammatory fluid, and as a result of it, we can hear some peculiarity of pronunciation of such person who is ill. So, sinus frontalis, sinus frontalis, sinus frontalis. And from anterior part of the frontal bone, we can find this eminentium, so named glabella. Glabella. This is glabella. 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 It's glabella. This is margo superciliare, and on this margo superciliare we can find a special foramine, foramen supraorbitale, foramen supraorbitale. Margo super ciliare, margo superciliari, this one, margo superciliare, margo superciliare. And this is foramen supraorbitale. Foramen supraorbitale. Supra orbitale. Foramen supraorbitale. So now we can understand the principle of the structure of frontal bone, and then we shall study another bones of Neurocranium, but now small break.